A very good afternoon to all the audience. I hope you're all doing well today. So, welcome back to another session of the talk today, which is entitled The Future Depends on What You Do Today, a Career Prospect in Biotechnology. Okay, so before I could begin the session, let me introduce our invited speaker here, Dr. Nazahiyah binti Ahmad Rodzli. And Dr. Nazahiyah is currently a research scientist in Malaysian Genome Institute, MGBI, under the umbrella of NIBM, National Biotechnology of Institute, Malaysia. Okay, so Dr. Nazahiyah has accomplished her Bachelor of Science honors in Biochemistry in 2008 at University Putra, Malaysia, and her PhD in Structural Biology in 2016 at University of Manchester. So welcome, Dr. Nazahiyah. How do you do?
Thank you very much. I'm all right, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, it's a great pleasure to have you here, Dr. Nazahiyah.
Likewise, yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Nazahiyah, actually, we are very keen to know about the research activities that are currently going on in MGBI. So, hence, could you please brief us a little bit on the research activities?
All right, thank you, Dr. Kishan. So I am one of the scientists at the Malaysia Genome and Vaccine Institute, or we call it MGBI. So previously, it was known as Malaysian Genome Institute. So not long ago, I think on the 1st of November 2021, we have been given another mandate, which is a vaccine mandate to the institute to carry out researches regarding vaccine research. So basically at MGBI, we carry out genomic-based research. So it can be from the upstream up to the downstream, anything that is related to genomics. So at the moment, we have a few units of a few research division that we can carry out. For example, all molecular cloning work, molecular work, so protein work. So, and we focus on biodiversity, healthcare, and also agriculture, that sort of thing. Yeah, it can be any research related to those fields.
All right, thank you, Doctor. That's a very good information that you have shared to us today.
Yeah, you're welcome to come and visit at MGBI. If you like.
Sure, will, Doctor. We will have our time to have a visit to MGBI as well. Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, Doctor. So I think without further ado, let us go to our first question, which is, can you please explain to us about the biotechnology setting in Malaysia? Okay, and when does it come into the picture in Malaysia?
Right. So many of you might have already known the words, the term biotechnology. So you can see biotechnology can be a very wide area. So it can be anything. It can be industrial. It can be agriculture. It can be healthcare, and you see it's very wide. So it is. I think in biotechnology in Malaysia has come about as early as in the 90s. So I think, and not until the 2000s, where the National Biotechnology Policy was introduced by the former, then our Prime Minister, Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. So this, basically, this National Biotechnology Policy is being created or being implemented to serve as a guideline how biotechnology to thrive in Malaysia. And so in order for us to develop this biotechnology industry, so they have, in the policy itself, they have several thrusts that they emphasize. For example, in agriculture, biotechnology development, healthcare, biotechnology development, industrial biotechnology development, as well as the R&D and technology acquisition, and a few others. So the way it's being implemented is by phases. So this policy started in 2005, and it ends in 2020. So it is a 15 years plan So in the first phase of this national biotechnology policy, it's involved building capacity, and followed by the second phase, which is the science to business, meaning that with all the research that you have come about, and we want to make it as a business in order for us to come back to return the wealth to us. And the final phase would be the global presence, where we are being seen by the world, that is one of the country that is driving in biotechnology. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Doctor, as another question, do you think is biotechnology a thriving industry in Malaysia now?
Well, for me, it depends how you see it. If you look at a bigger perspective, I think it is a thriving industry in Malaysia. You see, for example, some of the companies that has been making their profit, making the names in Malaysia, for example, in palm oil plantation. So there are a few companies, for example, Samdawi, Felda, and all of those companies has applied biotechnology into their business. So, for example, the tree that we are using for the oil production, or of the oil palm production, is disease resistant. So these are one of the examples that they apply biotechnology into the business they're making. Apart from that, I think at the moment, I think I've been involved in a few since the MGBI has become has a mandate in vaccine. So, and I've been involved in a few industries that is a vaccine-related industry. So I think you can see there are a few companies that already is starting to rise in terms of in doing business in biotechnology. So I see a lot of potentials for biotechnology to thrive in Malaysia. It's just that we need to know how to get round to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, I'm quite impressed with the vaccine involvement, as you mentioned just now, because this is our current pandemic that is going on. So
yeah. So I think everyone should be involved or take part in the development of the vaccine in Malaysia. So I think this is one of the things that we should be looking forward in the future.
Exactly, Doctor. Thank you. Okay, so on your opinion, Doctor, what are the job prospects or the areas that can be ventured in biotechnology?
If you ask me, whatever you do, you can always apply biotechnology knowledge in whatever job prospect that you do. So I think most people, they see the job prospect, especially in science, biotechnology. So they see that in Malaysia, at least I'm talking about the Malaysia setting. So it's becoming like a lecturer or maybe a researcher. So I think there are a lot other areas that future generation can explore. So, for example, what I would like to see in the future, especially in science, biotechnology, that sort of thing, that we would like to have more science advocate, for example. So if you look again during this pandemic, there are a lot of misinformation and a lot of miscommunication in terms of vaccine, the vaccine delivery, for example, the side effects. So I think we need more science advocate, for example. So that is one of the job that we can look into in the future. And also at the same time, for example, the journalist who has the foundation in biotechnology and science. So we need these people to be able to deliver accurate information to the public and to make them understand what biotechnology really is and what science really is, and again educate them to everyone that the investment in biotechnology is not a waste of money for some people might have think. So I think it's depend on the young generation or the future generation, that for them to be creative, how they can venture into the biotechnology industry and look for opportunities, or maybe they can search for the opportunities abroad and come back to create the opportunities for the future generation. So again, and the other things, the job prospect that we can see is the biotechnology entrepreneurship. So you can start, you can do startups, so with small business, and in future maybe it can be like something that can grow from a very small company. So again, I think it depends to us actually. How do you want to create? How do you want to put yourself in the industry so that to be able for you to move further as an individual and also as a whole, as a country in Malaysia.
Very well said, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doctor, there are a few challenges that are actually prominent in the biotech industry, as we know. So could you please explain in briefly what are the types of challenges that we can encounter in the biotech industry when we started to enroll?
Right. I have been in I would say in this industry for about over 10 years, if I count from the beginning. I started as a research officer, and then I further my study, and then I came back as a scientist. And at the moment, a few years back, I've been involved in the management side of the R&D and biotechnology. So I got the opportunity to meet a lot of researchers, a lot of industry, and I also involved in policy making and many other things. So I think what I can learn, this is based on my personal experience and what I can see or observe, the challenges that we face in biotechnology industry, and specifically in Malaysia, that we need a bit of diversity in the industry. So not focusing on one specific area, for example. So if we are thriving in palm oil industry, for example. So I think because we are doing so well, everyone is venturing into the business. So I think what we need is a bit more diversity in terms of the businesses, in terms of research, in order for us to explore more and make more discoveries and open more opportunities, and to fresh ideas, new ideas, that sort of thing. So another challenge that I think Malaysia is facing is that there is a lacking of there are gaps in an ecosystem of the research and development and in biotechnology, for example. So I'm taking the example of vaccine development. To be honest, we have a lot of R&D work carried out in vaccine research, but because of the lack of ecosystem in the vaccine R&D, so we cannot take further the research or the discoveries that's been made, mainly because I think this is the reasons this happened, because there are lack of interest from the local companies. There are, lack of capital. So as you know, biotechnology is a huge, we need huge capital to make the industry running. But having said that, although it's a huge capital, if we make it right, the turnover is also huge that can create wealth to the country. So because of the lack of these gaps, usually the gaps that in the ecosystem, we are not able to finish what we start off, and at the same time, we do not have fresh ideas from the companies. They tend to import the technology, bring in the technology from the outside. So that they, for the business to run. So if we can fill out these gaps, I think maybe in the future, so maybe this can be one of the things that we can move forward. So the other thing is the lack of opportunity because of the problems that I have mentioned, the gaps that we the lack of the ecosystem. So because of these problems, we tend to drive away brains and local talents and local brains. So because of we have a lot of biotechnology and science graduate students, so we tend to drive them away from Malaysia because of there are lack of opportunities and a better opportunity, better pays abroad. So these are the things that we need to address and overcome the problems. Yeah, I can go on with all the challenges that the biotechnology industry has faced, but I think so if we address some of this and we take action to overcome these problems, so maybe it can be a good start. Yeah.
Yes, very, very true, Doctor. Thank you very much. Okay, Doctor, it's just a small advice for the future generations. So what can the future generation do to improvise the growth of biotechnology industry in Malaysia? What would be your suggestions, Doctor?
Right. Again, this I think the younger generations, those who have the intentions of entering into biotechnology business. So we need to be more creative in a way that to create new opportunities, and we tend to be more. We need to be more innovative rather than we rely the technology. We bring in the technology and we apply. So it's not the wrong thing, but I think if we are more innovative and more creative in terms of creating the opportunity, I think it can open up a lot more opportunities in the future. So apart from that is that again, this is something not only applied to the young generations. So the local investors, for example, they should be more investment from the local investors, so that the younger generation will have the opportunity of discovering new things, or maybe be more innovative rather than, because one of the most challenge, the biggest challenge is the capital or the fund. I'm sure you are aware of this situation, because at the moment we rely too much on the government funding. So I think private sectors, philanthropies should be take part in investing the ideas, the innovations that created by the younger generation, so that we have this ecosystem keep going and running. And the other thing is that the idea that come out should be something that is novel, rather than we go into the existing ideas, for example, because we are not as advanced as the US or the other Western countries, but rather than we entering into the game, we create our own game that is specialized to Malaysia, or maybe Southeast Asia, or maybe in Asia. So I think we should not compete with big fish. So we create our own our own environment, so that there is a business there, and we can success from the business that we create that is novel to the region of Asia. Yeah. I hope this answers your question, though.
Yes, doctor. Pretty well, doctor. Your information is very well received, actually. Okay. So, doctor, what is your opinion on local talents? Whether are they sufficient enough equipped to enter the biotech industry based on the current pandemic and situation, doctor?
Right. I think we have a lot of biotechnology graduates with biotechnology graduates with science background. We have a lot. In terms of knowledge, I have no doubt that our local talent is very well equipped in terms of knowledge. So I believe all the professors, all the lecturers or tutors at the universities, whether it's local or it's private, I think they are very well trained to become an educator, to deliver knowledge to all those university students, that sort of thing. So I have no doubt that the local talents, in terms of their knowledge and what they are capable of doing. So I think what we are, to my knowledge at least, what we are lacking is that the experience in the real biotechnology industry. So this should be encouraged more at the institution level, so that they are able to have this picture, or maybe how is it like, what is it like to be in a biotechnology industry, be it in research and development, or maybe in this businesses, or in, it can be in anything. So I think the experience matters the most, regardless of how much knowledge do you have. So I think when it comes to experience, that is the most priceless criteria that the industry really needs. And the other thing is that we need to be more innovative. So again, I've mentioned this earlier, and this is something that Malaysia really needs, that we really need innovations in terms of R&D, in terms of business ideas, and so something fresh, something new. So if we look into this, I think maybe we can be out there somewhere, being very successful. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. If you see the current situation, based on the pandemic, currently our country is facing a small financial crisis. So, what is your opinion? Will biotechnology can help in improvising the crisis, solving this problem, doctor?
Well, definitely yes. I think I'm looking into at the current pandemic situation. So one of the reasons that the government has implemented the vaccine strategy, so is that for Malaysia in maybe in a decade we able to produce its own vaccine because of the current problems that we're having. We rely too much on the outside from outside Malaysia in terms of acquiring the vaccine, that sort of things. So from if the lesson that we can learn from this pandemic is that to have our own, we should be able to produce our own vaccine. This is not about just making money, so it's about the health security. So say if the vaccine is scarce worldwide, for example, if we have money, so if we are not able to produce our own vaccine, so that is really not helpful either. So I think if we are able to produce our own vaccine, so not only we can only create wealth, and also at the same time we are able to have this health security in Malaysia. So this is one of the examples that if we focus on biotechnology industry, that it can help many other problems that we are facing. We don't have to look in the world problem. We have to look in this. We only have to look at the local Malaysia in Malaysian context. So we can solve so many problems already without depending on other people. So paying attention to biotechnology industry is not wasteful. It can bring, even if we don't see it now, we can see it in the future. Who knows? Yeah.
Yes, very well said, doctor. Thank you. So, doctor, as a summary, how would you summarize on the career prospect of biotechnology in our country?
Right. To my experience, so I think in 12 or 13 years of experience being in this industry, I would be lying if I said that there wasn't a time that I was giving up. So there are times that I feel like giving up because of these challenges, because of you think that you could not find a way out for all the problems that we have encountered. But I think I'm still here though. I haven't given up. But what I can say is that if we are entering, this is not an easy. The biotechnology industry is not an easy as like you doing opening up a restaurant, that sort of thing. So it can be quite harsh environment. So what we can do, I think, we have to be persistent in terms of finding discoveries, and you have to be persistent and not giving up so easily, because it is not the turnover is long period. So you are doing R&D, and I'm sure you understand when it comes to R&D, the discoveries that you get is not within 1 or 2 years. It can take you up to 10 years, 20 years, or maybe longer. So what I can say is that being persistent is one of the main criteria that you should have, and not easily give up. And also you have to be creative, finding a solution, not only in your doing R&D, also in finding solution to problems, not to your research problem alone, but also in the problems that you face along the way. For example, looking for funding, looking for partners, or that sort of thing. Yeah. Again, it's not an easy. It's not easy being in this industry, but I'm sure along the way you will find it rewarding. And yeah.
Yes, doctor. Actually, I would like to highlight, as you said, the creativity. Creativity is actually an important key in order to solve a lot of problems that actually arise in during your research as well, as you said.
Yes,
very well said,
that's
doctor.
true. Yeah. I hope you can deliver this to some of your students.
Sure, doctor, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I think with that I would like to end the session, doctor. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for having me. I hope to come and
sure,
to Manipur University.
Hope to see you again for our next any talk sessions, doctor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.